quick introduction, kind of what we're going to talk about. I had sent in my title, and they kind of played around with it. They tinkered with it a little bit, because what I had wanted to talk about was the Gemara, famous Gemara, talks about a rodef, a pursuer, who's going to try to rape someone. Right? God forbid he's someone about to rape someone, you have to stop that, right? As Jews, we know we are responsible to try to prevent bad things from happening. And that would also include if someone, God forbid, is trying to kill someone or to hurt them or to rape them. There's even a tzad if someone's doing Shabbos or to do idolatry, we have to stop them. And even if it means hurting them, shooting their leg or their arm, or even if it means to kill them. And when I studied the sugya back in the day, what I was impressed, I think, or maybe one of the things I want to convey here is how we talk about Torah, and the Torah kind of is not bound by any limitations. You know, we're told that the Torah is kind of the mind of the Almighty. And the mind of the Almighty, just like the Almighty is not bound by any limitations, the Torah too is not bound by any limitations. And when we see the amount of unprecedented scholarship that goes on every little particular issue of the Gemara, every Havamina, every Maskana, every Chatira, every Safek that we have in the Gemara, I think it's really remarkable. And I think this is an example we're going to talk about tonight. It's a very obscure Chatira that is brought down by the Achronim, and how much argument, debate, and discussion there is about every kind of little point of this particular subject. So I want to give a little bit of background information here. So like we said, the halacha is if you see someone, the Mishnah says, these are the people that we save them, even if it means killing them. Someone who pursues his friend to kill them. And if someone is pursuing a zachar, which means a person to rape them, or even a girl to rape them, then we kill the pursuer, we kill the person who's trying to commit that act, the perpetrator, to save the victim. But if people are about to do other heinous, egregious, and terrible sins, we don't do them. There's no heter to kill them to prevent them from doing that avera. Fine, that's the Gemara. There's an interesting Gemara which is related, maybe not.
What's the film? All those things are all things that you're also chayiv misa for?
Yes, all of them are chayiv misa for.
We don't kill them for. Like Machal Shabbos, stuff like that, right?
Right, Machal Shabbos is chayiv misa.
That's what I'm saying.
So the question is,
don't kill them.
We don't kill them, that's right.
That's what I'm saying. So what's the chiluk? Yeah.
Well, the chiluk is that this is extrajudicial. The halacha of Verodef is extrajudicial, right? You don't have to bring him to court. You don't even have to have Eidim. You don't have to have Eidim Asra. Normally, if you want to execute someone in a Jewish court, you have to have 23 justices. You have to have Drisha v'Chakira. You have to have 2 witnesses. You have to have Asra. You have to have all those things. There's a Shaila if you need Asra by a Rodef. That's a question. But Pashtus, you don't.
How do you need Asra by Rodef?
There's a tzad. It's brought down that the Masrumbo, whatever. You would stop, right? The Gemara brings down the case with the guys on the other side of the river, and you tell them don't do it, right? Here the Gemara says over here, Omerlo, Re'ei she Yisraelu ben Brisu v'Torah Omer Shavach dam Adam b'Adam dam Yishafech. You do warn them. You try to stop them.
I guess that's like with the police where they say like stop.
Yeah, stop or I shoot. That's right.
The police can't just shoot. They have to first say stop. Or I think that's
right. Right, but this is very different, and we'll see, this might be very crucial to our discussion, that when you kill a rodef, it's not done through the court system, it's not part of the judicial system. And therefore, maybe it's different, maybe it's not. That's a spoiler alert for what we're going to talk about a little later.
What would qualify something as like a rodef? Let's say you have a guy he has a gun to somebody's head, and you're going to go and shoot him. So you can see he's considered a rodef, but what's the difference between that and the case of Eidim and Asra? Like, what would qualify the case to be a rodef? Or let's say somebody's going to rape somebody. Like, how would you qualify the case as?
Well, what makes rodef unique is that you're able to stop it. Means rodef is the case you're able to stop them, right? So let's assuming if you do Eidim Asra, you can stop them, correct?
You could.
Well, let's say you can't. What are you going to do, right? You see someone from far away, you can't possibly stop them. You would have to try to stop. The good question that you asked, and it's discussed by all the Achronim, at what point in time does someone become from someone who is contemplating murdering someone to someone who's actually in the act of murdering someone, and that changes the status and they're a rodif. If I come to you and I say, tomorrow I'm going to kill someone, I'm not a rodif yet. Correct? I have to be in the act of committing the crime that's going to be that's going to be killing someone. So that's an interesting point that you bring up. Either way, so let's look at the Gemara. The Gemara has a shaila here. What's the halacha? So we're going to talk specifically about what's the halacha if someone is rodef achara erva on Shabbos. It's a very obscure case. Probably, I don't wonder how many times in history it's actually even happened. Someone is pursuing an erva on Shabbos, are you allowed to kill them? And the basic framework of the question is that even though the Torah says, as Xeris HaKosev, the Torah says that you're allowed to kill someone to prevent them from doing arayas. So it's as if the Torah said that the normal prohibition of this week's parsha of lo sirtzach is temporarily lifted, but does it say anywhere that the prohibition of bin machal Shabbos is lifted as well? No. There's a prohibition on Shabbos to kill someone. You're not allowed to kill someone on Shabbos. You're not allowed to kill an animal on Shabbos as well. And therefore, if there's an Isser Shabbos, is there a heter? Is there anywhere, any place to find a heter to kill someone on Shabbos to prevent the redifa from being fulfilled?
Is it Bertsoina or Baal Karcha?
Oh, so you want to know? Okay. So the Gemara has a question.
Is that clear?
Well, the Gemara has a question. B'chlal. So the Gemara has a question. What happens if as you're engaging and trying to stop this, the woman says, Henichula, right? The woman says, let him do what he's doing. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, the Gemara means Rabbi Yehuda, which is critical to our discussion. The Gemara means Rabbi Yehuda that says that if the woman says, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, even if the woman says, Henichula, let him do what he's doing, because Shelo Yargena, in order that he should not kill her, even that person will not let her kill the rodef. And
You're not allowed to kill them.
that's right. Because the rationale for that, because the only reason why you're allowed.
She wants him to do it, maybe because she's afraid. But
Right. So the Gemara there says that the reason why the machlokas of Rabbi Yehuda and the Rabbanon is, that Rabbi Yehuda says that the reason why the Torah was makbid that Masar Nafshel Katala, that the woman she's a tznuah like Rashi says, and she's Moiser Atzma to die, and therefore the Torah says you kill him to save her. Hatzel dama bedamo. She's going to give up her life, and she's going to say, no, I don't let you do this, and he's going to say, yeah, I'm doing it, and ultimately he's going to kill her. So therefore the Torah is saying you kill him to prevent, to stop from killing her. But if we see that she's not giving up herself to die, then it's obvious proof that she's not going to give up her life. So therefore, the whole din of Rodef HaChareva doesn't apply. That's what Rabbi Yehuda says. And the Rabbanan say, no, the Torah is makbid on pagam. The Torah doesn't want her to get blemished, to get tarnished, to get violated. And therefore, even if she says, Henicholo, Shelo Yargena, even if she allows him, she says, don't stop him because she doesn't want to be killed, you still kill the Rodef. Yes, exactly.
Does it say outright that you can't kill on Shabbos? Or do you just assume that if you can't kill, for sure you're not going to be allowed to kill on Shabbos?
No, so the thing is, you can kill during the week. You can kill someone to stop them from being bought ala erva during the week.
But I'm saying just for a regular killing, does it say somewhere outright
That
you
what?
cannot kill on Shabbos? Or no?
Yeah,
You
that's
just
the, that's.
just imply that from you cannot kill, so of course you're not allowed to kill
No,
on
but that's
Shabbos.
included in one of the 39 prohibitions on Shabbos is through shchita, and included that is any sort of tilas neshama. Any killing on Shabbos is one of the 39 prohibited acts on Shabbos. You're not allowed to do it on Shabbos, clearly. And the question is, what if someone's running off erev Shabbos? So this is a famous chakira that the Mishnah Lamelch brings in Hilchas Shabbos, and what he says is a few interesting things. He says, listen, what if someone's road of acha chaver lahorgo? So the Gemara doesn't actually explicitly address this. If someone's chasing someone, you see on Shabbos, God forbid, you see someone pursuing someone with a gun, right? And you have to be carrying, and are you allowed to shoot the guy who is the perpetrator, the rodef? So he says, for sure you can, because there's an issue of pekuach nefesh. There's halacha, chaltar, kula, pekuach nefesh, docha Shabbos. Pekuach nefesh supersedes Shabbos. So therefore, you're allowed to kill the guy, you're allowed to do the ritzicha because of the din of rodef. That the rodef says you're allowed to kill the guy to prevent the redeem from happening. Well, you have to as well, but.
Their head there for
No, but-
concept of right is one thing, but to say pekuach nefesh to kill one person to save
No, so that's the thing. You're not doing the Pekuach Nefesh is not being mata the Ritzicha. The Ritzicha was already Hutar V'oimed from Erev Shabbos, right? Let's say the guy was running from Erev Shabbos. Think of an example. He's running from Erev Shabbos and he's chasing him, trying to chase him down with a knife, right? He's a Roidif. You're allowed to kill him in Erev Shabbos, right? So what happens? Now it's
Are you
Shabbos.
killing him because he's going to do an avera, or because he's killing someone?
You're killing him to prevent from killing someone else.
I'm saying,
Mehilchas written.
is it because the fact that someone's going to be killed in this action, or because he's doing an avera of killing someone? Is it because of the avera?
So that's the Gemara has a whole shaila about that. The Gemara says, are we trying to save the Roid from the Ritzicha, or are we trying to say,
You just said
Pashas
you
was saying,
don't kill someone if you just be going with Chal Shabbos.
that's true.
So then it must be that he was going specifically to kill someone.
No, I understand. He's definitely going to kill someone. I'm saying, are you killing, right? That's what you just said. I guess that's the question to Gemara. Are you doing it to save the
Pashas is we're saving the victim. Pashas is we're saving the victim.
From doing an avera, or we're saving the victim?
We're saving the victim. We're saving the victim.
As I was saying, because you can't kill someone to stop them from doing an avera.
It's like the Shabbos, leaving
Because
the
we started
Shabbos
in the
is just as
beginning,
bad
it
as
says
murder.
Rodek doesn't apply when you're starting to
There's a
stop
halacha of
people.
lo samad amrecha. There's a halacha that we have to do everything to save someone. If you see someone, God forbid, drowning, right? There's a mitzvah in the Torah, lo samad amrecha, vashivos lo. There's several mitzvahs in the Torah that we have to do everything we can to save
Say,
someone.
based on this, if someone was drowning someone else, there would be a mitzvah of right to go drown the first guy.
Well, let's try to build this from the ground up, okay? You see someone who's hit by a car, God forbid, right? There's a mitzvah in the Torah that you have to do everything you can to try to save the guy, right? Even if it means, you don't have to pay money, right? You have to pay money to hire someone to try to save them. That's psukim the Gemara brings, Vashavos Lo, Hashavos Aveda, Hashavos Duva Kol Strain, and the Gemara brings also the Samad Amriyacha. The question is, am I allowed to kill someone to take their kidney? I need a kidney, and the guy has an extra kidney. I'll kill him because I'm saving my life, right? Or I'm saving someone else's life. Why is that not allowed? The answer is that the reason why your life is in peril or someone else's life in peril is not because of the guy who has the healthy kidney, right? He's not the perpetrator. He's not the cause for he's the remedy. He's not the cause for, he's the remedy. So the Torah says you're not allowed to kill someone to take their kidney to save someone else. But if the only reason why your life is in peril is because someone's chasing you to kill you, then he's the cause. He's a rodef. The Torah goes to that you're allowed to kill him. It's ki'ilu, when someone is a rodef, for them the halacha of lo sirtzach doesn't apply. Okay? But what about the halacha of Chilul Shabbos? Right? The Torah doesn't say anything about Chilul Shabbos.
You're not talking about the perpetrators going to Chal Shabbos. You're talking about the guy who's going to kill him.
That's right.
Going
That's
to
right.
kill
That's
him
right. That's right.
and Machal
That's right.
Shabbos.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's got an extra
Right. So there's an extra issue you have to do with Chilul Shabbos. So when there's Ruach Nefesh of the Nir Daf, then it's Pashut. Then it's Pashut that you're allowed to be Machal Shabbos. Aber in the case of Arayas, there's no halacha of Ruach Nefesh to say something for Arayas on Shabbos. So Mechates you're allowed to kill him on Shabbos. That's the Chakira. That's the famous Chakira of the Mishnah Melech in Perek Chav Dal and Chal Shabbos. Now what he
You
said.
said it's just not. It's not like killing him. You said that.
I'm sorry.
You said it's like the prohibition of killing him was lifted. So why wouldn't it be also lifted by Shabbos? I'm not killing
No, it is lifted on Shabbos. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a mushal.
Yeah.
Right? Let's say, let's take sides in the Chakira. Let's say the halacha taka would be you're not allowed to kill him on Shabbos. Why are you not allowed to kill him on Shabbos? Mi Isser. Is it from the Isser of Leisirtzach or from the Isser of Amchalem Meisumos? Right? It's from the Isser of Shabbos. Because if it was Tuesday, you're allowed to kill the guy, the halacha of Ritzicha goes away. So on Shabbos, why? The only reason why it changes is because Mehilchas Shabbos. Dainu. If you want to kill someone on Tuesday, there's a prohibition of the Torah that stands in your way. Lo Sirtzach. Rodef does away with the Lo Sirtzach. If you want to kill someone on Shabbos, there's two problems lying your way. Number one, Lo Sirtzach. And number two, you can't. It's malacha on Shabbos to kill someone. Right? So how would you be allowed to waive that? So the Isser of Lo Sirtzach is gone because of the halacha of Rodef. The Isser of Shabbos is gone when there's Pekuach Nefesh. Because Pekuach Nefesh is Docha Shabbos. But when there's no Pekuach Nefesh, it's just the Erva, it's not Pekuach Nefesh, maybe then the Isser of Shabbos Bimkomo Omeid, and therefore you wouldn't be allowed to do it on Shabbos. That's his Chakir. And what does he say? He says that according to Rabbi Yehuda, what did Rabbi Yehuda say? Rabbi Yehuda says that the reason why Arod of Achar Erva we're allowed to kill the guy is Hatzel Dama B'Damo. Save her because she is going to resist. And she's going to resist, and therefore she's going to say to him no. And he's going to say yes, and ultimately he's going to kill her. Says the Mishnah Al-Melech, according to Rabbi Yehuda, there's also halacha of Pekuach Nefesh by road of Achar Erva. And therefore, according to Rabbi Yehuda, you would be allowed to kill him on Shabbos. Why? Because the Isser of Ritzicha goes away because of the halach of Rodef. Jeres HaKosav. And the Isser of Shabbos goes away also because it's Pikuch Nefesh. That's what he wants to say. So I want to kind of object to this. And I want to say like this. I want to argue with him, Michil's Toy Terasa, right? That even according to Rabbi Yehuda, there has to be a Shaila. Right? His Shaila applies also to Rabbi Yehuda. What is Rabbi Yehuda saying? Right? Well, or maybe there could be a Shaila, right? Is Rabbi Yehuda saying that every Rodef Achar Erva is really a Rodef Achar Lahorgo? Means he's learning Rabbi Yehuda to say that when someone's chasing someone because they want to rape them, right? God forbid, bad advice, right? That's really Rodef Achar Lahorgo. Because that's it's going to engender. Is that what Rabbi Yehuda is really saying? That's what he seems to be saying, right? Problem with that is that what's the makar for Rodav Achachaver Lahargo? What's the makar that if someone's chasing someone to kill them, that you're allowed to kill the Rodav? That's only learned out from Rodav Achar Erva. So the starting point is Rodav Achar Erva, that the Torah says, Ve'ein Moshiela, that there's no savior for her, but if she had a savior, you'd be allowed to save her in any way possible. And from that, the Gemara learns out from the Hekish of Tikashi Yakim Ishal Nefesh Razeh. The Torah juxtaposes these two, connects these two, and say also Rodach Haver Lahargo. But if the din of Rodach Erva was just a surrogate, so to speak, of the din of Rodach Haver Lahargo, that doesn't make any sense. Right? Is that a good argument? Not only that, I have a question whether or not that this will even be considered a Pekuach Nefesh. Right? What happens? What's he saying? This Pekuach, according to Rabbi, this Pekuach Nefesh on Shabbos as well. Why? Because he's going to chase her, and when he chases her, she's going to resist. Or yesh tznuas. Some people resist. Safek while she resists. Remember, it's only yesh tznuas. It's a safek whether or not she resists. And if she resists, he's going to insist, and he's going to ultimately kill her. But is it Pekuach Nefesh now? And is it Vade Pekuach Nefesh? Only safek Pekuach Nefesh. So I want to tie that perhaps, even though the halacha is that we're go ahead. Okay, but the halacha is even safek Pekuach Nefesh Doch Shabbos, right?
I'm just saying, how could you be mechalak between someone's Rodef Achar Erva?
So I want to say a vort. Listen to my vort. Okay, halacha is even safek Pekuach Nefesh Doch Shabbos, right? The Mishnah says that safek sham, safek iner sham, safek chai, safek. Right? Halacha is that in the case of a safek, if a building collapses, we don't know if there's someone under there. Halacha is that we clear away the building, even al the safek of saving someone. So really, even if it's safek Pekuach Nefesh, then we're Deicha Shabbos. And there's another halacha in Shulchan Aruch, in Shin Chav Tes, that says that if there's a fire next door, but you know that it's going to come, or perhaps it'll come to you later on, you'll have Mechal Shabbos now for the Pekuach Nefesh that'll come later. I know there's two chesroinos here. There's Pekuach Nefesh, which is the guy's mamash dying, and then there's Pekuach Nefesh, well, it's a safek, will he die, will he not die? And there's another kind of Pekuach Nefesh where the guy's dying or the guy will die tomorrow. And in both cases we find that you're allowed to be Mechal Shabbos to save someone misafek, and you're also allowed to be Mechal Shabbos to save someone for the future. But this case, it's both. It's both chesronis lebo lepundak echad, right? When the guy's chasing her, he's chasing her for a rice. Right? It's not now. Perhaps in the future it'll become a case of Pekuach Nefesh. Right? Who says, there's no example anywhere in the Torah that says that when you have both chesronos, you have both a safek Pekuach Nefesh and a Pekuach Nefesh in the future, that we have a din Mechal on Shabbos. I know it's a little bit of chiddush, but I think that we have never found an instance where the Torah says you're allowed to be Mechal Shabbos to save a future safek.
Any different than Rodef Achar someone Lahargo?
Huh?
Assume you go like Rabbi Yehuda.
Yes.
With Rabbi Yehuda's assumption. And what's the difference whether it's Rodef Achar someone to kill him or it's Rodef Achar Ervo?
Rodef Achar Erva, it's right. Rodef Achar Lahorgo, it's right now. It's a Pekuach Nefesh Kayom Hazeh. It's right now Pekuach Nefesh.
Yeah, but
Rodef Achar Erva, he's Rodef Achar Erva, and there's tznuos, like Rashi says, yesh tznuos that will resist.
When you have a guy running after someone to fight him, to kill him,
Yeah.
very likely the guy will fight back, and very likely the person, the Rodef, will overpower him.
I know, but the Rodef right now is
Why the
thinking
difference
about.
if it's another-
So
Is it more removed?
is it not Pekuach Nefesh now? Are we saying it's only a safek Pekuach Nefesh, or it's a Pekuach Nefesh in the future? I don't know. I'm saying I think it's right now Pekuach Nefesh. No, the guy's right now in a matzav where his life is being challenged. The woman, her life is not being challenged now. If she's one of the tznuas that's Meiser Atzma, maybe it'll be challenged in the future. So it's a suffix, and it's a suffix for the future. Hami Eloi Shemanu. We never heard, there's no case in the Torah. So maybe that's all I'm saying is that there's Makom Leistapik according to Rebuta as well. And why am I so insistent upon this? You say, come on, just give him a break, right? The reason why I'm insistent is because if you look at the Sugya here, the rabbis, the people who argue, the Rabbanan who argue on Rabbi Yehuda, they're not arguing in Lamaisa. They're not arguing and say that there's no tznuas the Meiseres Atzma, right? Of course they agree that there's tznuas the Meiseres Atzma. Just they arguing what the reason why you're allowed to kill someone on Shabbos or the Erva. But they agree that there's a mitzias of Yesh tznuas the Meiseres Atzma. So if you have no shayla according to Rabbi Yehuda because it's pikuch nefesh, you have no shayla according to Rabbanan because there's also pikuch nefesh according to the Rabbanan. Does that make sense? Because the Metzias is the same. The Metzias is, it's not like in Rabbi Yehuda's town there's more Tnuas, right? Both cases, there's Tnuas Shemoisros Atzma to not be boil. Correct? The reality is the same. So if according to Rabbi Yehuda, that's enough to engender a din of Pekuach Nefesh as Docha Shabbos, according to the Rabban, according to the Chamim as well, it should be enough of a reason to engender Pekuach Nefesh that should be Docha Shabbos. There shouldn't be any Chakira of
Rabbanan have a different reason for why you're allowed to kill the guy?
Right. The Rabban say that pigma, it's pgam. We're worried about pgam. But they're not disagreeing that there's tnuas emotions atzma. They say that's not the reason. All the argument is the reason, but the Metzias is the same. That there's going to be some women that are going to give up their lives, like the Gemara, famous Gemara in Gittin, that the women, they jumped off the boat and they said, we're not going to be boil, right? Give up their lives to not do their rise. So the reality is the same according to Rabbanan and according to Rabbi Yehuda. The only thing they're arguing about is what's the reason, what's the Zeres HaKosav, so to speak, what's the time of the Kra of the reason of Rodef Achar Ever, they let her kill the Rodef. Go ahead.
So couldn't they be arguing also about what percentage of women
That's a chiddush to say, because that's not what the Rabbanan say. The Rabbanan Savri, a pigma cupping. It's the Torah is makbid. The question is, what's the Torah makbid? What's the reason why the Torah is going out of its way to say that you ought to kill someone to prevent this? So according to the Rabbanan, it's because it's of Gam. And according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's because the Masr Nafshel Katala. Because they're yesh tznuas, that there are tznuas that are Moser Nefesh.
So what are they arguing?
They're arguing the reason. In the reasoning why. What's an aftermina?
No, I'm saying what are they really? There must be some reason why they argue one side or the other, right? It must be. I'm just suggesting. Maybe they're running more.
It seems like it means it is
insane.
insane.
Fall into the category of snua that they're going to end up giving their life. That maybe.
I don't have the machlokes Metzias.
Huh?
He doesn't want. Yaakov doesn't want to have.
I'm saying the Gemara seems to be saying. I'm saying I guess it is bizarre.
It's a machlokes in what would be a significant enough percentage.
That's the way to get out of any machlekes in the Metzias is to say it's a certain percentage, and the machlekes is what percentage is necessary in order. And say that anytime machlekes in the Metzias, that's always
We know all the tricks on the table.
Yeah.
No, but it's very fair to say that Rabbi Yehuda and the Rabbanon, when they're arguing at the reason why, what's the Torah makbanon? The Rabbanon say a pigma kapar rachmana, and Rabbi Yehuda says the Torah rachmana the katlei mishum the masan after katala that they're arguing in the Metzias.
Why don't they each want to say like the others? I'm asking.
I know the Gemara doesn't do that analysis, but there is an aftermina.
Maybe Yehuda holds that it's not enough of a reason for bring on, but then what are you going to say about the
Okay, fine. I'm fine with that. But I think Pashtus is, you may be right, but Pashtus is that they're not arguing Metzias, they're arguing what the time of the Korah, what's the reason of the Pasuk. And if so, if the Metzias is the same, then if it's Pekuch and going to Yehuda, it's Pekuch and going to Rabbanan. And then we have no Shaila. And the Mishnah, I'm just saying, the Mishnah Melech himself is saying there's a Shaila is according to Rabbanan, according to Yehuda not. And I think that Pashtus, where you learn the Gemara, that it's not a Machlokas and Metzias. If we want to have any Chakira of the Mishnah Melech himself, it has to be that Rabbi Yehuda too would have a Shaila as well.
So we're saying that we have two different cases. One is whether it's a subject of whether or not he's going to actually die, or whether you can save for the future. How in this case will be saving for the future if?
Well, because right now, what's he doing? He's Rodef Achara Erva. When he reaches her, right? Once he reaches her, then it's Pekuach
Whether
Nefesh.
he's going to kill her.
Huh?
That's the first one. Whether it's something whether or not he's going to kill her.
That's right. It means it's a suffix in the future. Whether or not it's a suffix now, whether or not there'll even be a suffix in the future. It's like a double suffix. Which, by the way, is interesting because according to this, the whole Chakira of the Mishnah Melech that there's been the equivalent of multiple Svarim written about. the whole Chakira is only vivite so long as he's still being roidef acharel. Let's say he was actually Hisida. He already captured her. So then it's not in the future. It's just a suffix if she's a tznuah who's meiser atzma in a chatala, or she's not a tznuah. So then it's just a simple suffix. Then the kula alma the halacha would be that she's that mechal and Shabbos latzila. It's funny because I found a very interesting lashon of the Rif. The Mishnah Melech quotes a Gemara, the Gemara in Sanhedrin that says that Ama Aretz mutter l'nochro b'yom kippurim shachal yotz b'Shabbos. That the Ama Aretz is so bad as someone you allowed to kill on Shabbos, which is also Yom Kippur. And what's the case? So the Gemara's a whole shayla. What did the Ama Aretz do? So the Rif says Kugoin sheratzal achara erva. So the Mishnah Melech brings it. This is clear. The Rif holds that if someone ratzach hara erva b'Shabbos, that you're allowed to kill him, right? Shabbos and Yom Kippur. Other Rishonim learn the sugya, learn that the Amar is doing something else, and therefore it's not a raya. But if you actually look at the lashon, he says ratzach hara erva. It doesn't say roidev. He kind of changes the lashon. He says ratzach hara erva. And I was thinking maybe to say that if it's ratzach hara erva, clearly he hasn't already caught up to her. He's only ratzach hareh. So then it's a raya to what the Mishnah Melech is saying, that there's still this whole suffix of whether or not it's a case of pekuach nefesh and is it docha Shabbos or not.
How can he say that? He can hold that. Like, doesn't he have to have a specific reason?
Yeah, so, well,
Why that there's, because the road that Achron takes off the killing part. But what about the Shabbos?
that's a very good question. No one has addressed that just yet. We're going to address that at the end if you have any time, which I'm saying. I wrote a chabur on this 5 years ago. I was reading it. It's there's a lot to talk about. We won't get to all of it. But I think Pashtus, the question is really a Hilchas Shabbos question. It's actually a question in Hilchas Shabbos, much more so than Hilchas Rodef. Yes.
So a person is going to be willing to step into the line of fire in order to protect their possession.
Yes.
So I would think a woman's to be
The chazaka. Well, Rashi is the yesh tznuos.
Why is that to be a basula?
Because they realize that they're karka olam and it's mutter.
No, but I'm saying it's still a possession. Let it be like a possession of theirs. In other words, by bomach teres, a person's gonna steal some diamonds or something. That everyone's gonna automatically.
So, but what I'll tell you is something interesting. What about bomach teres and Shabbos?
That's right.
So there we actually have a Zeres HaKasav. Bomach teres Shabbos, we let her kill bomach teres and Shabbos. And the question is, why do you need a pasuk to it? It's halacha, algemeina halacha. In Yuma, famous Gemara brings 6 reasons why Pekuach Nefesh Docha Shabbos. Why do you need to have a Zeres HaKasav, especially on Shabbos? Ein loy damim, ein loy dam, and ein loy damim. Bein b'chol, bein b'Shabbos. Why? If it's a regular case of Pekuach Nefesh, right? Why do you need an extra pasuk? So even that's not a regular case of Pekuach Nefesh, right? This is a little hard to kind of explain very quickly, but it's clear that that's not a regular case of Pekuach Nefesh. Remember, you let him kill the Bamach Teres before he ever encounters the Baal Bayis, right? So that's not a case of Pekuach Nefesh. And if you just had the halacha Pekuach Nefesh Docha Shabbos, you would not know that you let him kill the Bamach Teres on Shabbos. The chazakra of Ein Omen Al Mamono that Rav remains. Still, that's not enough. What's actually very interesting about that Gemara, when the Gemara brings down, this is a little side note here, when the Gemara brings down the pasuk of Ein Loy Domim, Bein B'chol, Bein B'Shabbos, Rashi and the Ramah, they learn that the Gemara's maskana, the pshat in the Zeres is that it is Pekuach Nefesh. Kamash Malon, that it's Pekuach Nefesh, if I remember correctly.
Even though you hold it's Pekuach Nefesh there, but by the case of word of Achara Erva, according to Yehuda, you're saying the Mishnah has a shiloh.
Right. That's not resolved. But the Ramah says it clearly. He says the Kamash Malon is that it's Pekuach Nefesh. So it's a little bit of a shver Kamash Malon because Pekuach Nefesh is a reality. Mm-hmm. So maybe he's learning that Kamash Malon is that even though Mehilchas Pekuach Nefesh, the Alma, it would not be enough, because it's still in the future, it's still a suffix, etc. But here the Zeres HaKasav that it's still bechlal the Pekuach Nefesh as Docha Shabbos, even though under normal circumstances it wouldn't. Okay, so I want to just dip our toe in a little further here. The Shara Melech has a series of questions on this Chakira, and his primary point of emphasis is that he seems to bring a Gemara Mufareshes that seems to to answer the question. The Gemara has a shaila here. How is it ever possible? The Mishnah says in Subis, Elu naras sheyesh lam knas. These are the women. These are the naras. These are the young girls that they have knas. That if someone, if someone slept with them, they would have to pay the knas. And one of the examples is someone who bala choso, someone who sleeps with his sister. And the Gemara has a shaila, if the halacha is that a road of achar erva, you're allowed to kill them, how is it ever possible that you should be chayiv a knas? The halacha is kim lebederamane. If someone does either someone does one action that brings him two results, one of misa and one of mammon, the halacha is that he only has to do one. And this applies as well for rodef. If someone is a rodef and they're running and they're breaking a kalim as they're running, the halacha is they're not chayiv to pay for the kalim, because b'shah of the breaking the kalim, they're chayiv misa. Someone could have shot them and been justified to do so. So if you're allowed to kill the rodef, how is it a rodef achar erva? How is it ever possible to be mechayiv someone a knas ba'al choso? He could have been killed during that time. That's the Gemara's question. And says the Shara Melech, if the halacha was that you cannot kill someone who's ba'al erva, who's rodef achar erva on Shabbos, you can't kill them. The Gemara should have a very simple answer. When is the case where you're chayav a knas? You're chayav a knas in a case where you're not chayav the misa. When's that? On Shabbos. So he wants to use this to be paishet the shaila. That if the halacha must be that you're allowed to kill someone on Shabbos who's been rodef achar erva, because if you were not, then the Gemara will have a very simple answer that it could have given. That's his raya. And there's a lot of different answers. We'll go through some of the answers. He himself brings an answer. He says that even the Hakira of the Mishnah Lamelech of whether or not rodef achar erva on Shabbos, we're allowed to kill him on Shabbos, that's only regarding the bystanders, the Good Samaritans, if you will. But the erva herself, she would be entitled to kill him on Shabbos. And the question is, what basis does that have? Why would Allah be different for her than it would be for everyone else? But either way, says the Mishnah Melech, says the Mishnah Melech, it's not a question, because even if on Shabbos we are not allowed to kill the guy to prevent him from doing the redifa, she would be allowed to. And because she's allowed to, that kicks off the halacha of kibbutz ramene, and he wouldn't be chayiv pay money.
Would it require anywhere in there like purity of intentions? Meaning, like if you already hated this guy and everything else like that, like does that prevent you from acting from killing the rodef or not? Like that?
Well, the halacha.
Right?
Yes.
You have to have purity of intentions, or else you can't.
Yes.
Right? Is that anywhere?
Well, I'm saying the Gemara doesn't bring that as a case. And the halacha of rodef, by the way, applies to goyim as well. There's a halacha for goyim. There's a whole sugya of rodef by a goy. And the intention, by the way, of the perpetrator also doesn't need to be known. The Gemara's whole shaila, what's the halacha by a woman who's having a very painful or very dangerous labor? Are you allowed to abort the baby to save the mother? So the Gemara has a whole discussion with the baby could be a rodef. The baby not doing anything on purpose. Right? The Rambam brings down the halacha, one of the most famous Rambams out there. Probably the most famous Reb Chaim. An argument to be made, the most famous Reb Chaim. On this particular Rambam, that the Rambam calls a baby a rodef. A baby can't be a rodef. Baby's innocent, right? Cherub. Delicious, right? But it's not about the intent of the rodef, and the question is, do we assume that someone who is a good Samaritan, who's the matzil, do they need to have, it might just be a wonderful opportunity. If you see your enemy being a rodef, maybe you'd be a little bit trigger happy to try to put him down because you want him down anyhow. And now you find your head there.
That's what I was asking. It sounds like not.
There's a mission in Magus that talks about if somebody is known as a sonin, and you meet somebody, in that case, would you go to Golos? Would you go to Nikla?
You wouldn't, right?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but that
James,
specifically
so we're not bringing
reference.
reference.
But the Dafka doesn't apply here. I think that Dafka here, if you're in the halacha of a rodef matzil of a rodef, I don't see any reason why prior.
Yeah, what's also interesting is that you're asking from the perspective of the judicial process. there is no judicial process here. Right? Like you said, a kanoim pogrimbo, right? So the halacha is halacha ve'imorim kain, right? The guy comes in nimlach lebezin and says, should I do it or not? If Pinchas came to Moshe Rabbeinu and says, should I go kill Zimri? He says, no. You're right. But now Pinchas did kill Zimri. Does he need to go justify his actions in court? You know, if you have an intruder into your house and you put them down, as is your legal right, you'll still have to face probably a grand jury and explain your actions. It seems like this is an example of where kind of the law is put in the hands of the, vigilantes, the people that take the law into their hands. And it's indeed, it would not be part of the judicial process, and you wouldn't have to go explain. You don't have to ask, you have to aid them, right? You're on your own, right? Question is, could someone justify their actions and say he was a rodef? There's a whole Gemara about that. There's a Gemara in Sanhedrin about that. As to, it's very complicated because there's Amasa. You would know what happened with Amasa, Yoav, and Amasa. Amasa killed Yoav. I don't remember the whole story, but either way, he said he was a rodef. He tried to kill me, and the whole back and forth in court about this particular question. And he tried. Yes, they came to David HaMelech, right? Yeah. He said you aimed for his fifth rib. It's a whole Gemara in Daf Memtes in Sanhedrin. It's a whole shaila as to what happens. So yeah, you might be right. There might be a case where someone would have to justify his actions.
Also, then he stabbed him when he was tying the shoe with his mouth.
Yeah, it's like Navi. You know, we went to yeshivas and unfortunately didn't do it. You know, I'm blamed them, but we have been. There's been a dereliction of our study in Navi. So it's hard to remember. There's Amasa and there's Asa and Amasa. It's kind of hard to remember. But we can look at the Gemara and see how that plays out. But either way, if the Nerdefis herself is in any case allowed to kill him, then the halacha would apply as well. That's a little bit of a shver answer. I want to give one more answer and quickly jump to the conclusion here. I think that even if the halacha would be that you're not allowed to kill someone on Shabbos, does that mean that they're not chayiv misa or not? Means, like, how do we explain it? The whole shaila is, yes, of course, someone's a roidef, the halacha of leisirtzach does not apply to them. The halacha of mechalamas yumos, the halacha of lesaskem halacha, that does apply. But they're still chayiv misa. Right? They're still chayiv misa. Let me give you an example. I'll give you a mashal here. Let's say the halacha was that you're not allowed to kill a rodav ever b'Shabbos. You're not allowed to. And you did it anyhow. And there was Eidim. And Eidim and Asra. And they gave Asra against Ritzicha. Would you be chayiv? I would say Pashtas not. Because there's no Isra Ritzicha. The only Isra they could give, it means if they were master with you on the Chil Shabbos, then yes. But the Isra Ritzicha is gone because this is someone who is Chayiv Misa. So even if the Allah is Taka for procedural reasons, so to speak, that you can't kill him because it's Shabbos, that doesn't mean that they weren't Chayiv Misa. And mainly you still have the two of Kimud Ramadi. So the whole Kasha Mikara Lessa, that even if the halacha was like the tzad of the Chatir of Mishnah Melech, that you were not allowed to kill someone on Shabbos, that's a Hilchas Shabbos to halacha. But mitzad, the Isser of Roidef, that he's Chayiv Misa, he's still Chayiv Misa, and there would still be a tour of Kimud Ramadi. There's a whole Shiloh. Is it B'chlal Esav Beitarti? Because the way means the Chatir would have to have with this is that the halacha of Kimud Ramadi is, it's a din in Beis Din, like Rashi says in Bamitzia. If it's a din in Beis Din, the Beis Din cannot extract two judgments, well, then here, Lamaisa, you can't fulfill it. So even though theoretically you could, but because you can't Lamaisa fulfill it, maybe the Isser of the halacha of money you could extract. Like that's right. So the question is it comparable or not? I want to jump to the end here. What's the shaila tolian? So I think the real shaila is like Andy intimated it. Is it the heter to be allowed to kill him is because it would be mekalkel. Halacha is that the mekalkel maturin, if you do mekalkel on Shabbos, if you do a malacha but has a destructive result, not a productive result, then the halacha is that it's potter of aser. And the question is, I think it's a Hilchas Shabbos question, because we know that halacha is that we don't do the Beis Din mandated executions on Shabbos, right? And Tosfos in Daf Lamed Hey over here says that the reason why we don't do it, is mekalkel, you're killing the guy, and he's dead. That's obviously that's a kilkel. The answer is no, it's a tikkun because he gets a kapara. So if the halacha of killing a rodif was a tikkun, was a kapara, then indeed we'd not be allowed to kill him on Shabbos because the Isser Shabbos become umed. However, if the halacha of killing a rodef was not, it was just a din of atzala, and granted the way to do an atzala is with a kilkul, and it's a killed and you throw in the fact that you're saving the girl from the violation, maybe then it would not only be part of us, it would be mutal gamri. I think that's the shaila. There's a lot more. I don't want to take you guys from my earth. It's 9 o'clock. So if anyone wants, I can send them. I have 8,000 words on this subject. It's very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.